Welcome to Health Conscious Entrepreneurs, where we uncover secrets to balancing entrepreneurship, life, and healthy habits to achieve radiant health. I'm your host, Ngoc Tai, and today I have my friend, Dr. Gabrielle LeCompte, all the way from Alameda, California. Welcome to the show, Dr. G. How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Doing awesome. So let me tell you a little about my friend, Dr. G here. She has been practicing in functional and integrated medicine with an emphasis in immunology and proper immune behavior and functioning since establishing Integrated Healing Medicine and Wellness Center in 2004. Dr. LeCompte also earned her doctorate of medicine from UHSA School of Medicine in 2008. She also holds a doctorate in Chinese medicine from 5 branches School of TCM in Santa Cruz, California in 2001, and a BS in kinesiological science from the University of Maryland, College Park. Oh my goodness, so much information, and I just can't. It's amazing. So tell me what about yourself. And you are staff at ACMC Highlands Hospital, Department of Medicine and Division of Integrated Medicine. So what is that? What is integrated medicine?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ngoc. Thanks for asking. So integrative medicine basically is a blending of multiple medical modalities. Mostly we think of Western medicine, Western conventional medicine, and then blending it with some form of Eastern medicine or something else like naturopathy or Western herbal medicine, things like that. But acupuncture, Chinese medicine, all of this. And so what we do is we try to reach we try to find the core issues happening. And so we do a blending of both Western medicine and alternative types of medicine and therapies and try to reach or find the root cause of illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Since these days we're in a very chronic, situation with so many patients now.
Yeah. And what have the patients that are coming in to see you, what are some of the things that's showing up when they come to see you?
You mean like in the hospital setting?
Mm-hmm.
So first off, let me just preface that this was a program that was established by Dr. Amy Matecki, and we created a division of integrative medicine at a public safety net hospital. And that was one of the first of its kind in our country, in the United States. They do have integrative medicine in China, but they don't have it, or they didn't have a lot of it here in the United States. So some of the private hospitals have like off-site campus, integrative medicine campus facilities, but ours is fully immersed within the hospital setting. So we would go into the ICU, we go into the emergency department, we go to all the wards and all the different departments. And we mostly were targeting initially was about pain management. And the main reason is because pain management, these patients that come in, so many of them are put on multiple drug therapies, and then we get this humongous addiction problem within the society. And so this being a public hospital, not privately funded, this was all started as a volunteer. So what we had to do was go around to the different areas of the hospital, targeting mostly pain management. And then we also have had a clinic in the adult medicine department where they would come in, and we ended up getting so booked up that we had a year-long waiting list.
Wow.
So that just goes to show you that the doctors, the conventional doctors there, are overwhelmed with chronic conditions, and they're basically overwhelmed and overworked with it. So this was a really good way to a leadway, a segue into building an integrative approach at a hospital setting that's in a public county hospital.
So what do you teach them? And I think, how do recover? It's like, from your practice? Do you teach them about like nutrition?
Yeah, so okay, so at the hospital, it's pretty basic because a lot of times, you know, in the mainstream population, a lot of people don't know what good nutrition is, and that's a really key factor. Now, in my private setting, where at my own clinic, that's my biggest emphasis is nutrition and adequate hydration. So hydration is key because, you know, people think drinking from tap water is okay, but they don't realize that there's tons of chemicals in there, and it comes out of a pipe and it's no longer fresh water, so to speak. It's stale. It's sitting in your pipes for a long time. So it's not fresh spring water that is structured and ionized and charged, you know, and alkalized and all of that, right? So that's a really important factor that I need to educate people on as well. And then, of course, trying to do my best to find the root cause and what the issues are with their condition that they're coming in for.
Yeah. And when you talk about ionized water, that's my favorite topic because, you know how I love to share my water and just teaching people how to be chemical free using
Absolutely
ionized water. And a lot of us really don't understand the importance of that there is alternative besides just tap water, that there is ionized water that you can use to do all kinds of things in your house, right? Just besides drinking, you know, we clean the house, we get rid of oil, we get rid of pesticide, you know, we're like not using chemical and not contributing more to the issues of chemical going to the water, right?
That's right. And the majority of the patients that I see are a lot of autoimmune conditions. And when I evaluate them, I generally find that they have environmental toxicities. And that includes all those chemicals that we use in our home, on our bodies, on our faces, you know, cleaning. So I've actually started using some of the alkalized water that you've given me. And I've used it for degreasing and then also cleaning with the more acidic water. So I love doing that. And I've done it with my laundry, and I've done it when I'm cleaning. I've even given it to my cleaner to make her do it as well. And then you know, if I want smell, sometimes I basically add essential oils. So, you know, those are really important things to be able to do because you're reducing the toxic load in the body, right? And therefore then you're able to give your physiology a break from all the toxic burden and allow it to excrete some of those toxins out.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because we use it to treat your arm, right? Because how we got connected was, you know, you broke you broke your wrist, right? Your wrist. And then you call me up and say, Ngoc, can you get me some negative charge water?
Absolutely.
And so I came in over with lots of water to just get you, and you soaked it in every day. You were soaking and wrapping it, right?
Yeah. I was trying to get, so to speak, like charged water, hydrogen water, so that it would help the fusion of the bone that I broke when I broke my wrist back in June.
Yeah. And how is your wrist?
It's doing great.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so this water we're talking about, it's not really alkaline water. It's alkaline ionized, it's hydrogen water. So that's the difference, where it's not the same like where you go to the store and buy alkaline water. Those are made with Epsom salt and baking soda. Our water is really electricity charged water. And so that's a huge difference. And people don't realize that there's a difference between the water we share as an ionized water from a machine versus a water you buy from a plastic bottle, which is really not even good for you because it sits in the plastic and leaches into the water, and then you're drinking water, it's, you know, with chemicals in it too.
Right.
Yeah. And so so when someone comes to see you, you do a health evaluation to understand the root cause? And then give them, what do you do in terms of when you evaluate them and giving them, like, how do you go through your steps of health?
So I generally have a questionnaire for people to fill out. involves a lot of the metabolic system of the body, from the colon and the liver. And generally speaking, almost every single person I see has liver issues, toxicity load. So that's a really big challenge in today's society, because we are over inundated with too many chemicals from, I mean, just exhaust fumes outside. And now we have fires that we've had to breathe in that smoke inhalation as well. And you're breathing in petrochemicals and, you know, general chemicals. You have people that are clean freaks, that they want to keep their house super clean. They're using Clorox and, you know, other types of toxic chemicals. And basically the liver gets overburdened, and it has a really hard time with trying to excrete those toxins out, because it's a filter, right? The liver is a filter.
Yeah, it is like the lungs is a filter and the liver is a filter, right?
Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
Exactly.
So and when we have so much chemical, the filter is getting clogged. It's like a car, right? You're clogging your liver with all the chemical, and it doesn't know what to do, and then so that's when it doesn't work anymore, and we get sick.
That's right.
So like drinking tap water, when you're drinking tap water, the chlorine in the fluoride and all the other stuff that's in tap water,
right?
Like your body's trying to take care of that.
Right? That's right. That's right. Exactly.
And then it's not hydrating us. So when you're drinking our ionized water, it's like it's a fast hydration where it's just helping, you know, your body blood flows, and you're sleeping better. And for me personally, I got into the water when I was really sick with inflammation. That's from stress. And
stress is another toxicity, right? So you don't just have chemical stressors, but you also have mental stressors. And so those are huge in how your body responds when we're constantly under stress. Then we also weaken our immune system, and then our body gets confused. There's a lot of you know, confusion with the immune system, so it doesn't target what it's supposed to target, and sometimes it ends up targeting our own bodies and attacking, and that's what we call the autoimmune issues, conditions.
And that's just because, and now if our body is not in a good state, right? So what you're saying is, if our body is in not a healthy state, our mind, our mental, physical, emotional, all that's all craziness that's going on, then our body starts attacking us, and then it can't heal, because it's not in a good, our body's not in a good environment to heal.
Right, exactly.
And so what integrated medicine is teaching us is that our body's supposed to heal itself, right? In functional medicine.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, we have the ability to detox naturally anyway, but when we get over inundated with all these other chemicals and just lots of what we call antigens and foreign body invasion, you know, into the body, your body doesn't do well with trying to make normal, healthy physiology anymore. And so as a result, it becomes a chronic condition. And so what was once an acute condition starts to become chronic. And then most Western trained physicians don't know how to treat that, because initially giving a drug as a therapeutic agent should have resolved the issue. I mean, these pharmaceutical agents are not meant to be taken long term. They're meant to resolve the issue quickly and not have people stay on it permanently, which is what's happening. We're creating, you know, people that are basically having to stay on multiple drug therapies. So with integrative type of medicine, it's a blending, and it's trying to find the root cause, and then we address that, and we do alternative care, which for me, I use bioresonance as one of my modalities, and that's basically a vibrational medicine modality device that I have. And everything is, if you can understand that everything on this planet, in this world, is based on vibrational frequencies, just like water, and and water has different vibrational frequencies when it's, you know, clean, fresh, structured, ionized, charged water versus dead water,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that makes a big difference as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I believe it because water is life, right?
Yes.
And when there's tests that's been done where if you're talking to the water or you're feeling a certain way with the water,
Yeah.
or you know that the emotions that you put into the water, or wherever the area is, or there's toxins or not, or what, everything, the water molecule, the crystal changes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we have to really believe that water is life, it's energy, and that we're supposed to be drinking a water source that's clean and good for our body and supposed to help our body heal itself.
Yeah. And breathing clean air and being able to, you know, walk on land that is full of a microbiome of life. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we are as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. And when you were talking about like all the medicine, what came to mind was like, what we don't realize is that when we're taking medicine and we're inundating our body with all this medication, what we're doing is we're masking the illnesses, right? And then what happens, it goes through your system, then where does it go? It goes through, you pee it out, and it
It
goes,
also goes to the liver
yeah, it goes
or
to
the
the liver.
kidneys, and they
Yeah.
filter, and then they don't actually filter it out. It gets filtered and stays in the liver. Many of the byproducts or the metabolites don't get filtered out.
Mm-hmm. And then so then what happens is it keeps accumulating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets clogged, right? And then it's not, it can't, and then gets stuck. And so then you're getting it, actually the body can't heal itself because now it's clogged.
Yeah, I kind of think of it as the liver as like um, a big um, area for, you know, dumping things. And so there's many roads to the liver. That's our, you know, vascular system. And when the liver gets full, when the toxic burden is too great, it basically, you know, it's like a communication says, you know, back it up, go back into the vascular system. Everybody back it up, go back into the tissue, and you know, and that's where you have a distribution, because we got to keep the roadways clear,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
yeah. Oh my goodness. And so we talk about water and then nutrition. So what kind of nutrition do you usually talk about with the people that come to see you?
Well, um, I try to think about anti-inflammatory foods,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because everybody has inflammation,
Mm-hmm.
even at small levels. But um, you know, generally speaking, I will, once I do a bit of the analysis, I end up giving people medical food grade nutritional supplements that um, can help detox the liver, that can support different glands and organs. And so, and then I actually have to do a bit of education to the patients. But I'll tell you, to be honest with you, I have a lot of patients that come in and they already know what they have to do. They just need a doctor to help guide them, because they've done everything that they're supposed to, at least with the nutritionally speaking, and they're still having issues. So that's where my expertise comes in. But the people at the hospital, um, what I found is that that is a different set of people. They generally have um, uh, no nutritional education whatsoever. So for me to educate the people, you know, the patients at the hospital setting, is very basic. Like instead of you know, going out to eat at Popeyes, or I mean, and every once in a while, of course, we all love to enjoy some of these fast foods and everything, but that can't be your main staple, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you have to reach for the fresh fruits and vegetables, and then, you know, go from there. And of course, I encourage my patients at my clinic to eat um, organic, pasture raised, grass fed um, animals that have been at least humanely raised, and then, but for the most part, it's probably closer to more of a vegetarian type diet, but with small amounts of animal nutrition of fat and protein, and we want good fats and proteins, and those are the kind you don't want trans fats, which means, you know, usually people will cook their oils at high temperatures, and that ends up becoming a trans fat. So we have to kind of make the changes on what is a healthy fat versus a not so good fat for, you know, your diet.
Yeah. And we talk about trans fat. Before growing up, I didn't know that vegetable oil was bad. Canola oil was bad.
Yeah.
You know, so all these oils, I was like, I didn't know.
Remember margarine?
Margarine, yeah.
Yeah, like, same thing.
Yeah, so there's so much we don't know, and we think because our parents been using it, and then we just adapt those habits, and then we just don't learn about them, so we continue using them until, like, okay, we start reading and educating ourselves. And so now, you know, for my cooking, I use grapeseed oil, right? I use a lot of olive oil. I hear coconut oil is good too.
Yeah.
So those are some things that we can be aware of to, like, you know, change the oil habits, right? Just basic things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what I love is, like, when you're learning these basic things, like just around your water, the right food, getting rid of pesticide from your food, getting rid of chemical in your house, right? So these little things that we can just learn and change, that's what's going to help us get better.
That's right. And I mean, I have to apply it in my life too, to do it. You know, and exercise is really important. You know, and also these are, as everybody keeps saying, unprecedented times. But what is probably some of the most important things we can be doing is also relieving ourselves and giving ourselves a bit of joy. We have to find joy in little things, and laughing is awesome. You know, it helps to stimulate the immune system. The immune system is happy when you're happy. When you're stressed, the immune system gets stressed. There's an actual correlation with that. So therefore, you know, having joy when you're eating and drinking and hydrating, you're helping your body to maintain homeostasis, you know, where the physiology of your body is normal, it's healthy, it's happy, and things function at that point. Because that's a problem with a lot of my autoimmune disease patients.
Yeah. And
got to learn to love yourself. That's so important.
Oh my God, so important, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with you, because I remember when I was in a stressful, you know, relationship before, and when you're in a stressful relationship, you just really don't realize how terrible it is until you get out, right? Or how it impacts your health. And you're saying those chemicals that's being released, it is. It's just we don't realize that these chemicals, it's caused us to, like, create stress in our body, right? Cause us to have pain and inflammation, right? Cause us to, like, even age.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Aging is a huge factor.
Yeah. And so if we're able to have these happy hormones, right? And then, you know, our life is much happier.
Yeah.
Like we're living in alignment with who we are supposed to be or who we want to be. And everything in our life just changes when we're able to make these little tweaks that we're happier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for me, it's like, I've come to that, went through the journey, and now it's like I realize, okay, how important it is to just get back into balance. And when I'm not balanced, what I do is I go get an acupuncture treatment. You know,
absolutely.
So
acupuncture
what
helps that too? Balancing the meridians. Acupuncture helps that too, with balancing the meridians.
And so, because do you practice acupuncture? Because
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so in your practice, so what kind of modalities? You talked about frequency machine. So you have
the bioresonance. I also use a device called the Asira Pro. It's an electrodermal screening test that you hold 2 rods, and it basically scans your body for about 40,000 bits of information. I do live blood cell analysis, acupuncture, I'm trying to think about all my other devices that I use. I have a scalar.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Skinar. It's a Russian technology, and it helps with pain management as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I even do a bit of ozone therapy as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And I remember when you broke your wrist, you had this is that a biomat or something that you wrapped? Because we did the water, and then you also had some light. Was it?
Oh, the infrared.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, I was using infrared technology as well.
Yeah. And
Um, yeah, and then there is a laser that helped with the helping with the fusion, and then I also drank Chinese herbal bone tea
mm-hmm.
to help fusion as well.
Mm-hmm. And the water.
And of course, the water. I mean,
Yes.
drinking water was was key.
Oh my gosh, I was bringing you like bags and bags of water.
Yeah,
And it's just like, wow, she needs another water bag, so I just keep bringing it. So I'm so glad that you healed so well, and it's
yeah,
so powerful because I mean it's only been since June. I'm like, oh my gosh, and all the things you do, it's natural healing.
yeah.
Yeah, and you're letting your body heal itself, because at the end of the day, we don't want to depend on medication. We want to be able to say, okay, let this body take care of itself, right?
Right, right.
And just you know.
Yeah, and also some of the like the ibuprofen and Tylenol and other anti-inflammatories actually slow some of the healing processes, especially any of the opioid drugs. There's a study that came out that showed about growth slowing down the healing process of a fractured bone.
Mhm.
So I made sure that I did very, very little of ibuprofen or Tylenol or Advil or any of those for that, very reason.
Mhm. But there's side effects to those, right? I mean, for
Over
the,
time, yes. I mean,
yeah,
in short doses, they're okay.
yeah, and short doses are okay for that short pain, for masking the pain a little so you don't feel it. But over time, because when I had my health issues last year, and that was before I got into the water, I was in so much pain, and so I went to the doctor. They gave me cortisone shots, and then they gave me tons of medication. And
Hmm.
after 2 days, I'm like, okay, I cannot be on this strong medication because I just knew that it wasn't right for me. So I turned to
Right.
the holistic side of acupuncture, and then got introduced to the water machine. And so, it just really helped balancing out my body. And so
Mhm.
would you say, I mean, I heard that if you can solve these three chronic issues, which is dehydration, inflammation, and oxidation, I heard that those really solve a lot of our health issues. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Because once is okay, if we don't know that we're dehydrated, no matter how much water you drink, if you're not drinking the water, then your body is still dehydrated, right?
Right.
So inflammation is that if we have a pH is out of whack, which is causing acidity, right? Which just causes some inflammation is part of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the oxidation is what? Just aging. The air
Yeah.
we breathe.
Yes, absolutely. Oxidation is just some of the normal process that your body tries to um, capture free radical damage.
Yeah,
So, that's what it does is it
yeah,
has to oxidize.
yeah. So what I love about our water is that it's antioxidant. So we can even measure that using a meter, ORP meter, which is an oxidation reduction potential meter, where you can test the different types of water and food and say, okay, if it's a positive charge number, then it's oxidizing. And if it's a negative charge number, then it's antioxidant. So when
Mhm.
you're drinking the hydrogen water, it's really antioxidant. And so you're just getting yourself those antioxidants through water, which is pretty
Right.
powerful.
Sure.
Yeah. And so we talked about hydration, we talked about nutrition and stress control. So what else can people do to take care of themselves?
Well, exercise is a huge factor.
Okay.
Um, and community is big too. I mean, being involved and and touch, honestly, is a huge factor, especially during these times where we're not supposed to touch others, but it's a natural way, is, you know, hugging and touching somebody and having physical contact with others is really important. But laughter, making joy in your life, I mean, all of those are some of the most important things we could be. And they're just little things. You don't need to buy anything. You can go out and, you know, be around trees, and you can get energy from trees. And being in the forest is some of the most valuable things that we could be doing as well. So I think all of that is.
So we talked about, so my suggestion is go hug more people at home, your family, your loved ones, your kids. I mean, I love hugging because it does, when you hug someone, it's like you're giving them energy and they're giving you energy. It's like a chemical that, you know, that resonates when we're hugging, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you talk about trees. And so we suggest going hug a tree because a tree is charged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or walking barefoot on grass.
Yeah.
So we walk.
No, not even on grass, on soil, on real rich soil.
Yeah.
Not dead soil.
Yeah. Because the earth is charged.
Right.
Always. So, you know, the earth, lightning and everything is charging the earth. And so if we touch the earth, we're charging ourselves, right? And that's what we're trying to get back, is to get the negative charge from the earth naturally through, you know, the earth and touching the grass and doing gardening, things like that.
Right.
Is charging our body back so that we're back to homeostasis, right?
I think really also another valuable tool is being of service to others. You know, giving compliments to people, like authentic compliments, but also just helping people and helping animals, helping plants. All of that really gives back to you, really, in the long run. You're giving, you're being of service to others, but at the same time you're also receiving you know, light energy is what I call it. And you get benefit from it. It makes you feel better too.
Yeah, that's so powerful, because when you give, it's like you make that person feel good, but then you're releasing chemicals in your body to make you feel good too.
Right, that's right.
So both people are really benefiting from the act of you just giving to someone. So it's not a one-way street, but really a true two-way street.
Absolutely.
Of giving and receiving.
Yep.
And that's why, you know, why we get along is that we just barely met, right? So we met at an event, and then instantly, okay, we got along. And then you call me up when you had your wrist issue, and now we're best friends.
Yeah, and I think also, you know, gardening these days is really, really important. I swear it's incredible, because, you know, I belong to that organic community garden here in Alameda, the Alameda Bay Eagle Community Garden. And we do so much harvesting. Everybody has plots of land, and we harvest every week, and we give tons of food to the food bank every week.
Oh, wow.
I have a friend, my friend David, I think you met him. He measures, he always, once he takes it to the food bank, they weigh it. So every year he gets a tally of how much food, and it's thousands of pounds of food. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And it's fresh, and there's no pesticides and chemicals on it. It's all, everything is organically grown. We compost our own, and then we turn that compost right back into our own dirt. And I mean, it's full, and it's got tons of microbes and worms in there, and all of that is a contributing factor to health.
Yeah,
because you're in coherence with the planet at the same time.
Yeah,
that's really important as well.
Yeah, and when we talk about food, you know, what we don't realize is the food that we eat has changed.
Yeah.
Like the produce that we buy has changed.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was growing up, it tastes different. Or when I'm growing stuff in my garden, it tastes different.
Yeah.
Like when I go to the grocery store and I buy stuff and it's not even ripe and you have to wait for it to ripe. And the flavor is so filled with pesticide that it just doesn't taste like it's supposed to taste when you your garden, right?
That's right.
Right. And so, yeah. And then the food that's grown, there's no more worms anymore. There's no more micro, those things that's supposed to help break out the earth.
Yes.
They're not there. They don't exist. And so if we think about the cycle of life and the cycle of food, our food is being compromised.
Yeah.
Right. So once our food is compromised, then what happens? Then we eat it. Then our body is compromised.
Well, we're not getting the nutrition like we used to.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, and as a result, actually, a lot of times people overeat because we're not getting the nutrition that we should be in our food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it takes more to saturate the feeling of feeling full.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I used to love gardening. I would go in the backyard and I would pull weed, and it just brings me joy just to pull weed. But it's just the act of just being out there, not even thinking about anything, just like pulling, Yes. And then you feel like you've accomplished something when your yard is nice and you have these flowers growing, and you're growing your food and vegetables. And I just love growing. So I invested in this product called Growbot. And this Growbot is basically, nutrients, water, solar panel, and a camera. And I'm growing my own food, and it's automated, so that I don't have soil, but I have these perlites, and it's amazing because I can go out there and pick my tomatoes and my jalapeno and my herbs and stuff like that. And I just feel like, wow, it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can all think about how we get back into, like we say, balance, right? Taking care of these little things, it'll impact our life so greatly. So my last question that I always ask every expert is, if you have one superpower to change the world, what would that be?
Wow. One superpower. If I had a superpower to change the world, I would ask if whatever I could receive light consciousness, and I could send and share it to everybody to see the truth, to see the light consciousness and the beauty in all living beings. Because then I could just send it out like a beam of light to every individual. Actually I could encompass the entire planet that way.
Yeah. So we'll send all the light out to the whole world and change the world with your energy.
Yeah, but I would be receiving the energy. It's not just mine, right? It's coming from the light source, divine source.
Yeah, receiving and giving.
Yeah,
amazing. Yes. And so how do we find you?
Well, you can go to my webpage, integratedhealingmedicine.com, and you can leave a message, or you can call the office, 415-690-8374.
Okay.
And then also you can email me at info@integratedhealingmedicine.com, I believe.
Okay.
I'll have to ask my coordinator if that's the correct one, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
It is the website. We'll also put it up. We'll put up the website.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and if anybody that is watching this, and I will give them a free 15-minute consult over the phone, and you can get some answers if you need that, or if you want to take it a step further and come in for an analysis and evaluation.
Yeah. So if they tell that they're watch the videos and mention us, and we'll give them a free consultation on understanding their health a little bit. Well, thank you so much, Dr. G.
You're welcome, Ngoc,
for coming on to the show and sharing your vast wisdom, knowledge, and expertise here. It's just, it's so powerful if we can just help people get back into balance and
Mm-hmm.
understanding the
Mm-hmm.
importance, right? It's
Yeah,
really
for sure.
the importance of getting back into basic, getting back into letting our body heal itself through the
Mm-hmm.
different modalities of nutrition, good water, controlling stress, controlling our
Absolutely.
health, right? And go hug your friends and your family, not friends now, but keep social distancing from other people, but go hug your family and people
Yeah,
around you, right?
absolutely.
Yes. And
Share the love.
one more thing, sleep.
Sleep. Absolutely.
My
That's
goodness,
good.
we cannot stress the importance of sleep,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And that's why when I say that a lot of us as entrepreneurs and we sacrifice. That's the one thing we usually sacrifice that I feel, but I do it a lot because I'm just as guilty because like when I have a deadline or I have things I have to do, that's like sleep is like, okay, that's cut out.
For sure. It's important. It's one of the most important things because that helps aid recovery and helps your body to heal when you have any kind of trauma, which is inflammation is trauma,
Uh-huh.
in the body.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, it's like I know when I'm not sleeping and then my body gets out of balance. And so then even though you try to catch up, it's hard. It doesn't really catch up. You lose it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's so important that we make sure that we have the proper amount of sleep that our body tells us. And for me, it's like, okay, that's where I'm working on is to make sure that I sleep properly
exactly.
and not sacrifice that. But thank you so much for coming
You're
on to
welcome.
the show. I greatly appreciate you and I honor you for all your work and
Yeah,
making all the impact that you do to our society, our environment, our community, our people in Alameda. It's just
yeah,
so
for
so so
sure.
so powerful what you do. Healers around the world are just so important, right? It's just
Yes,
can't stress enough how we can share our healing powers to others and share our knowledge and help
definitely.
everybody get better together because end of the
Absolutely.
day we're all in this together.
Absolutely. I
All
couldn't
right,
agree more.
thank you.
You're welcome.